my name is Golly, and welcome. You are watching my first ever Yu-Gi-Oh video up on Cheat Like a Champ, and today I want to show you my deck profile for my Yu-Gi-Oh Hat deck. Now what that stands for is Hands, Artifacts, and Traptrix, and there are 3 different archetypes mixed perfectly into this 40 card deck, and I've been using it at tournaments lately and been doing okay, so I want to show you guys this, and maybe if you play Yu-Gi-Oh, it will help you edit your deck to base around this. So, here we go. I'm going to start off by showing you my monsters, and I run 3 Traptrix Mermellos. This card is my favorite card up until August 15th when new cards come out, because when you normal summon this card, you get to search from your deck any trap hole card. So I have 3 trap holes in main deck and 2 in side deck, so 9 times out of 10 I'm always going to have a target to search for this card. And then when my opponent tries to summon something, I can just flip the trap hole I got to my hand and it'll die. So it's a really good card. And then you got 2 Traptrix Dionea, which is the only other Traptrix monster I run in this deck, because its ability, whenever you summon it, lets you reborn another Traptrix monster from your graveyard. And if you normal summon that, you get this back from your grave. It gets its effect to destroy 1 spell or trap card on the field when it's special summoned. So you normal summon that, special summon that, pop a card on your opponent's side of the field, and you overlay them for an XYZ monster. So these are really good 4-star XYZ monsters, and they're really good right now. So the next part of this deck is the hands. Now this is probably the most overpowered combo in Yu-Gi-Oh at the moment, and it is really relevant right now because decks are really weak against destruction effects, okay? And what these cards do is, whenever you destroy Ice Hand, alright? If I would destroy my opponent's Ice Hand by battle or card effect, it goes to the graveyard, and once it hits the graveyard, it gets to destroy 1 spell or trap card on my opponent's side of the field. And then it destroys that card, and if it does, I get the special summon Fire Hand directly from the deck onto the field. And if it's the battle phase, I can attack with it that turn too. So it's a really broken card at the moment, and Fire Hand's effect is the exact opposite, only the same almost, because if he dies and goes to the graveyard, you can destroy 1 monster on the field, and then special summon Ice Hand from your deck. And then they're 4-star monsters, so they're really easy summons, and they're really accessible for 4-star XYZs. So these cards are extremely broken right now, and they basically beat anything in the game. Like these cards basically made Madol Shea an irrelevant deck really quickly, because they just destroy everything. Then we got 3 Artifact Moral Tack. I was running 2, and I was running Beagle Tack. 2 Beagle Tacks, actually. And I took the Beagle Tacks out because they're dead cards. And Moral Tack is a really special monster because instead of summoning him as a monster, you can also set him face down as a spell or trap card. It's actually a spell card, alright? So whenever he is special summoned to the field during your opponent's turn, you get to destroy 1 face-up card your opponent controls without targeting it. So it gets around a lot of effects that say you can't target this monster. He can still destroy it. So I run 3 of him. And now you're thinking this might be a really hard card to get out, but I have this card in my deck that lets me special summon him very easily, and I'll show you that soon. Then we have 2 Max C. I run a 3rd in my side deck. This card is really good against Sylvans and Dragons and Lightsworn, because anytime your opponent special summons a monster, you discard this card from your hand to grave and you get to draw a card. And multiple cards if they special summon more than once that turn. Then I run 1 card D. This card, you send it to the graveyard from your side of the field and then draw 2 cards. I just use that for consistency. Then we got 2 Mystical Space Typhoons. I use them to destroy my own Moral Tacks during my opponent's turn. And then the Moral Tack goes to the graveyard, special summons itself to my side of the field, and then destroys 1 of your cards. So it's a really good combo. Then we got 3 Pot of Dualities, and I really do not want to draw cards in this deck. Like Moral Tack, I don't want to draw him, so this card lets you choose what you draw. So I activate it, and then I reveal the top 3 cards of my deck, and then I get to pick which one I want. And it lets you basically pick the best situational card for you, which is really good. And we got Soul Charge. I run this because I can reborn at the same time. I could reborn 2 Mermellos and then destroy 2 spell or trap cards on my opponent's side of the field, and then overlay them for an XYZ monster the same turn. It's a really good combo with Soul Charge, and I would probably even run 2 in this deck if I'm running the Curry Bandit build, which I'll explain at the end of the video. So then the last spell card I run is Dark Hole, just because it kills all monsters on the field. You gotta have it in most Yu-Gi-Oh decks until August 15th, and the format is gonna change because of new monsters that come out. So here we have the most broken card in the game. I know I keep saying broken cards, but this whole deck is broken. You just gotta understand that. So Artifact Sanctum, you flip it, and it lets you special summon one artifact monster from your deck, aka Moral Attack. And you special summon it during your opponent's turn, and this card gets to destroy a card. Now if you have this card face down, and I'm your opponent, and I target it to destroy it, you can activate it in response, special summon Moral Attack, and it gets its extra effect. When this card is destroyed by your opponent's card effect, you also get to destroy one card on field. So you get to destroy a card from Moral Attack and from Sanctum. So these cards right now are really, really good, and they came out in the newest Yu-Gi-Oh set, and that's why they're the best right now, I think, because they're the newest cards in the game, basically. So, on to more trap cards, which this deck is based around. I run 16 main deck trap cards, which is a lot. I run 2 Black Horn of Heavens. It stops XYZ and Synchro monsters from being summoned, as well as Judgment Dragon and Blackluster Soldier Envoy of the Beginning. It's a really good stop to all that stuff. And we got 2 Fiendish Chains, because Fiendish Chain stops an opponent's monster from attacking, and it also just stops my side of the field from dying and stuff. It's a really good card. Breakthrough Skill, because I do not like Felgrand. It is anti my deck, and Breakthrough Skill will negate Felgrand's effect. And then we got Solemn Warning to stop Felgrand from even hitting the field, because this card is limited to 1 right now, because it stops the monster from ever hitting the field, and it negates any summon. Then I run 1 Compulse. It sends any monster on the field back to hand. I run 1 Dimensional Prison, because Stardust Dragon really destroys my deck also, because it negates destruction effects, and a lot of my deck is destruction effects. I run 1 Call of the Haunted, because I can flip it during my opponent's turn, and special summon Moral Attack from my graveyard, and then get a pop off that. So, Call of the Haunted's perfect in this deck. I run 1 Torrential Tribute to destroy all monsters on the field. I run 1 Bottomless Trap Hole because I can't run 3. I also run 2 Traptrix Trap Hole Nightmares, and people will know this card's on the field because I search it from my deck from Mermello. And then they'll try to play around it, but then they'll just forget about it, and then they'll play into it. But if I play against a good player, they're going to definitely play around this card. So that is my main deck, and that is just beastly. I like this deck a whole lot, and I'm going to show you my extra deck right now. And this is my newest card, Constellar Ptolemy M7. It has a really good effect. It can bring Artifact Sanctum back from my graveyard to my hand, or it can return 1 card on the field or graveyard to either player's hand. And I don't have any 6-star XYZ 6-star monsters in my deck, so the only way I can summon this card is by having Constellar Pleiades out on the field, which is another card in my extra deck, and I can overlay him by overlaying 2 Moral Attacks, and then use his effect real quick, then overlay him on top of him for my extra deck, and then I have a beastly M7 on field. So those 2 are a really good combo I just picked up. And then we got Black Ship of Corn. It destroys hands like Ice Hand and Fire Hand. This card's effect sends a card from your opponent's side of the field to the graveyard. The hands effects only go off if they're destroyed, so this card gets around the hands. And then we got Heartland Draco. You gotta play this card. It has won me so many duels against good duelists, because they just set up in Yu-Gi-Oh where they have like 5 monsters out. And I'm like, what am I supposed to do? I have 1 turn left. I summon Heartland Draco, attack for 2,000 directly. Good game. Good game. Then I run 2 Abyss Dwellers, because this card is just the shit. Because it stops anything from activating in the graveyard. Any monster effect. Like the hands. I can attack directly into the hands without fear because of this card. And I can also negate Lightsworn effects in the graveyard, like Dragon Rulers and Necrogardna. I run Lavalval Chain, which is another new card for my deck, because I seen the player that came in first place at the World Championship qualifiers in Detroit use this card in the final duel. And basically, it lets you do whatever you want with this deck, because you can top deck whatever monster you want, right? So if I have that card on field, and say this card is one of the overlay units for him, I'll detach that from it, use its effect to put this on top of my deck. So next turn I draw this card, summon it, get this card back from the graveyard, destroy one of your spell or traps, overlay them for Abyss Dweller or something else that's a 4-star. And then I have Abyss Dweller and Lavalval Chain out on field, and you can't do anything. So that is a really, really good combo I like. And then this card, Evil Swarm Exciton Knight. It's the most expensive card in my deck, and it is also the least used card in my deck, because I never summon this card with this deck. I probably will if I run Shadows in the future, but in this deck you always have 1 or 2 more cards than your opponent. And his effect is, if you have less cards on your side of the field and in your hand combined than your opponent, you can detach one material from him and destroy all other cards on the field besides him. So you can use it during your main phase or your opponent's battle phase. So it's a really, really good card. And this card is really, really good. I run 2 of it because it is just like the most clutch monster to summon, honestly, because it can take your opponent's special summon monsters and it can't be destroyed by card effects because its other effect lets you save itself. Now, I have 3 of this card, and I don't need 3 of this card, I only need 2. I pulled this other one from a pack, and it was a $4 pack, and it's a $50 card. So I'm really not in need of a 3rd one, and I'm going to be selling it, so I'll talk to you at the end of the video about selling and purchasing this card. So 2 honor arcs. A 3rd one is completely unnecessary. Honestly, a 3rd one is the most unnecessary thing I've ever seen in my life. This card is necessary running at 1. I cut Pot of Dichotomy for this card because Pot of Dichotomy is a dead card, and this card lets you recycle 3 monsters from your deck back into your deck and then draw 1 card up to 2 times because you have to detach 1 material to use it. Then I use 1 Gaia the Thunder Charge because Volcasaurus. I can summon him by overlaying 2 Pleiades, 2 Mortal-Tax, and then his effect destroys a monster on my opponent's side of the field, right? And since it's a 2-part effect, it gets around hands like Fire Hand and Ice Hand and makes their effects not go off. And his other effect is he can't attack your opponent directly the turn he uses that effect. So he's out on the field, I use his effect, then I overlay Gaia onto him, and Gaia's effect lets you do piercing damage, and it also will let you attack that turn you use Volcasaurus' effect. So that's a really good combo right there. 1 Steel Swarm Roach. This is an OG XYZ monster, and the reason I run it is to counter Light Sworn monsters. It stops Judgment Dragon from hitting the field, and it is a really good lifesaver against high level decks. Then we got 1 Gaga Cowboy. You basically have to run this card since Yu-Gi-Oh! Is played in 40-minute rounds, because if your opponent locks up against you, this card can deal life point damage to them without attacking. So it's a really, really good card. Next is my side deck. This is the last thing I want to show you. We got Fosso, Dyna, Paki, Alefiso, whatever his name is, and he's just a good 4-star monster that I run occasionally if my opponent special summons a lot. And then I run a 3rd Max C in my side deck, and then Nobleman of Crossout is good against hands, Fire and Ice Hand. Yes, it's holographic. And I got 2 Soul Releases because Soul Release banishes 5 cards from you or your opponent's graveyard. And if I'm playing against Light Sworn decks that run completely out of the graveyard, you drop this card on them, pick 5 cards from their graveyard to banish, and they're gone from the game. It's a really, really good card against them. I run a 3rd Mystical Space Typhoon. I'll side that in against any cards. Any decks that run a lot of back row, I'll use a 3rd one against. Then we got Memory of an Adversary. I use that against other Hat decks and anything that will attack me with monsters. That's good against. I run a 2nd Breakthrough Skill inside deck because Felgrand is very viable. And then I run 2 Wiretaps. Wiretap negates a trap card from being activated and shuffles it back into the deck. So if I'm playing against any deck that runs a lot of traps, I'll put 2 of them in my deck. That card's good against Light Sworn. That is a trap hole card that I can search from Mermello. There's another trap hole card I can search from Mermello. In the cheese of my side deck, 2 Debunks. This is still going to be one of the most relevant cards ever, even after August 15th, because it negates any monster effect that activates in the hand or graveyard and then banishes them and removes them from the game. And it's a counter trap, spell speed 3, meaning you can't counter it unless you have a wiretap or another spell speed 3. So that is my side deck, and now I would like to show you the cards that I'm trying to sell. The reason I'm trying to sell cards is because I am moving on to a new deck August 15th, hopefully, when the new set of Yu-Gi-Oh cards come out. And these cards are still going to be very, very viable, and the only reason I'm selling them is because I won't be using them in my main deck, so why keep expensive cards around? So these cards right now, they go for 9 apiece, 10 apiece, but I'm willing to sell all of them for 60 or best offer as a set to one player, and I will send them to your house, free shipping, so you don't have to worry about shipping charges either. And I'd want to do this transaction over eBay and or PayPal. So that's that. And then I also got a couple other cards for sale. Daigusto Miro, Dual Terminal Edition. I'm definitely trying to sell my 1 Silent Honor Arc, and I'm also trying to sell my 1 Abyss Dweller. And I am still going to be running Abyss Dweller and Honor Arc in my next deck, just not triples and doubles of them. So those cards are going to be for sale. And if I do sell Fire and Ice Hand before the new decks come out, I'm going to replace Fire and Ice Hand with Curry Bandits. I need one more Curry Bandit, and it's a $15 card. And what Curry Bandit does, it sends monsters from it sends the top 5 cards of your deck to your graveyard, and then you get to add one of the cards that were added from there to your hand if it's a spell or trap. So it just really makes the deck a little bit more fast paced, and it helps you get what you want to your hand better. And if I run 3 Curry Bandits and take out 3 Fire and Ice Hands, I can add another Soul Charge and then 2 more cards, and my deck is just where it is at without the hands, basically. So that is where my deck is at the moment. I'm really enjoying this build, and I know a lot of other people are out there in Yu-Gi-Oh because this is a very common deck right now. So for my first Yu-Gi-Oh video, I hope you all enjoyed it. And if you are a Yu-Gi-Oh fan, please subscribe to my channel. I'll be doing occasional Yu-Gi-Oh videos, I'd say like once or twice a month on my channel. And they will be giveaways, some of them. I would be giving away these cards right now probably, but I really don't have an established fan base of Yu-Gi-Oh players on my channel, so there's no point in doing that. And it'll be really cool doing giveaways for Yu-Gi-Oh because they're cheap packs, and some of the cards you can get cheap, and I can get them cheap. So I'll be able to send them to my viewers for cheap also. And I'm going to be doing pack giveaways too, so you'll get random cards in the mail too. So it'll be a blast. If you are a Yu-Gi-Oh fan, please subscribe. And I hope you enjoyed my video, and until next time, peace!